Hello Moto Maniacs, welcome to season 2020, episode 28 of the Pecino Report. Not sure who that is, oh well, but this is the podcast that gets past the hype and gives you the lowdown on what's really going on in the MotoGP paddock. Well, here we are again, another race, another bout of insanity. After a shocker from Fabio, the peace dog, Mir, is now in the driving seat with a 6-point lead in the championship. But in a typical 2020 fashion, the weekend just raised more questions than it answered, of course. What's going on at Ducati? Is Alex the new Mark? When will we see team orders at Suzuki? If only we had a seasoned professional to help us. But we do. It's Mr. GP himself. Manuel, how are you, mate?
Hola, here from Spain. And look, this season is not for professional, but for the ones who have, how do you say, this ball where you look into the future? Crystal ball?
The crystal ball.
Yeah. Exactly. The professionalism is nothing about this season because every weekend we have a surprise. The weekend before we talk about the invisible podium, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this, I don't know, you are better English speaking than me, which would be the correct word for what happened in Aragon?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mayhem. It was mayhem.
It was complete another mayhem. And that person we can see there, that's the apprentice to the master. So how are you, Andrew? How's things going? How are you handling Rossi's third DNF in a row?
Woo!
I'm not used to having the man I love not finish all the time. No, do you know what? Can I be brutally honest?
Yes.
I'm not really missing him.
Disappointed.
There's too much other excitement going on.
True.
Like, yeah, I want him to get better and I want him to do well, but at the same time, it's not boring without him. But I do have to say, on Saturday night, because here in Australia, the racing now is on at stupid o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed up and had to watch every single little piece of qualifying and all that. And then Sunday I was just had my eyes hanging out my head and I was like, I can't stay up and watch the race tonight. Like, I've got to get up for work. So I was like, I'll watch Moto 2 and then I'll go to bed. I'll make sure I watch the race before we record and all that. And then after watching Moto 3, Moto 2, I was just like, beep, work. I'm staying up. Yep. So I went to work on Monday morning on about 3 or 4 hours sleep.
Wow, you are really hooked. You are really hooked.
I am.
Yeah, I must admit, I did the same thing, Andrew. I messaged you and I said I was going to bed, but I started watching it and I couldn't tear myself away.
It's like a drug addiction. It's like forget everything else in your life. Like I remember when my life revolved around, what was that? The podcast, the podcast was like, oh yeah, I'll make time and we'll sit and do this. And now it's like, screw everything else. This is my priority. And I couldn't imagine watching it not live. I don't think I can do it.
It's just not the same, is it? So let's start to break it down. Manuel, first of all, let's get straight into it. Ducati, what's going on?
Well. We have already spoken about Rossi's absence, right? Because he got infected by COVID.
Yep.
Surprisingly, he got infected between Le Mans and Aragon, which were 1 week. And the question, and we throw the question into our podcast, is about if Valentino flew in his private jet from Le Mans to Italy, probably to Rimini, and in this jet there was Luca Marini, Morbidelli, Bagnaia, and all the others. Strange, no? That just one got infected.
Yep.
We live in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the only one with symptoms.
Because look what happened to another Italian rider, Arbolino, who was challenging for Moto3 championship. Mm-hmm. He flew in a standard airplane, open airplane, and he got confined because in that airplane, a guy seated 2 rows behind him was infected. So following the Italian protocol, he had to be locked down for 10 days. Okay, these are the ones who did not race. But the ones who did race and how did they race, we go on it. First, before getting to the race, we go quickly through the episode that happened on Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
During
qualifying
Yep.
between two former friends, question mark.
Friends, yeah.
Former friends that were Petrucci and Dovizioso, you know. The 5 Ducati riders didn't make it to go through Q2 straight. So they have to go to Q1. The 5, no, the 6 Ducati riders were. So only 2 of them could go to Q2. And what happened? That the only Ducati rider that has a chance to win the championship got out of this Q2 and pushed out by 2 of his mates.
That's right. His
one
own
is
teammates,
Jack Miller, Jack Miller, and the other one Petrucci. And what hurt really was that Petrucci made his lap time, the good one, just slipstreaming Dovizioso. The 2 times Dovizioso went out to make his lap times, and this irritated Dovi to a point I have never ever seen him in this way. You know, because normally Dovizioso is a very calm rider. You know, it's the most normal one among the 22 riders, but this time he really got pissed off.
He was glove throwingly mad.
So because you know, everything you've taught me again, Manuel, is about getting out there, fight for yourself. So I've heard the conversations over the last few days of you know, he should have been, you know, he's higher up in the championship, he should have been given, you know, leeway to do it, but then at the same time, you know, Danilo out there for himself did what he needed to do.
Yeah, no, look, normally the thing would, I really don't know on which side to be, you know, because the normal thing is, hey, Dovi, go out and do your job. And if you are capable to do it, okay. If you are not, you are not capable to do it. And on the other side, look, being a team manager, a manager is a guy who runs a team, like the word says, a group of person. And you expect from a manager to think forward and to have the solution of all possible situations that will appear. This is management, basically. So in Ducati, knowing that they have just one rider fighting for the championship, and there were 6 of them out there to challenge other 5 to challenge this guy, they, you know, it was a must. And understand it however you want. It was a must that Dovizioso could go to Q2. And this how, I know that it will sound quite unfair, but the one who can control the power of the bikes, the top speed of the bikes, today you can do this with a computer. So the manager, you know, it sounds not very sportive, but Stu, it is how it is.
That's how it is. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So he should have passed to Q2. And Ducati management could have made it possible. But nobody really thought about this because they thought, okay, Dovi will be capable to do it, but he did not. And to make it short, after what happened after Dovi, he saw himself out and he started from the 15th position on the grid, having a chance to fight for the championship. He got very much upset and he said some rough things to Petrucci that is not normal. Like things like, normally Petrucci is intelligent, this time he hasn't been intelligent. So he called him stupid. Then he said, for all the things I have done for Petrucci in the last 2 years, I expected something different from him. So, you know, he like throw on the table all the bills, you know, if he has accumulated bills along the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And throw it on the table. Yeah. The typical.
Has he calmed down since then, or has he still got this opinion?
No, he is. No, he will be calmed down because at the end of the race, he finished the best Ducati, 7th.
Yeah.
Oh, he did
starting
bloody awesome.
15th.
Yeah.
So he was asked, what would have happened if you had started more in front? He said, well, I could have finished 5th. But at the end, once again, the destiny gave Dovizioso a new ticket for the championship, you know? After every week we say, he's finished, he's out.
He's done.
Gave him another freebie, another free life.
Exactly. Okay, well, this is the situation. So they argued, Petrucci instead said that after having been sucked from the team, he's racing by himself. So it would be no sense after having been ignored, mistreated from the team, by the team. Now somebody come to him and tell him to have team orders. And this is the situation. This was before the race.
Can I just say though, so on that, because I don't know if is it something they've stopped doing as much with the team orders, or is it something they still do nowadays? Because in this situation, if it was obvious they gave team orders and they changed the way they were riding, I'd feel like I was getting ripped off a bit because they weren't all just riding to the best of their ability.
Stu, I don't follow much Formula One, but you do. And in Formula One, team orders is something that happens very normally, no?
Normal. Every single race, there's always...
Does it take away that whole...
Yep, it does.
Yeah, because look, I think we have said here hundreds of times, or at least 28 times, that the first rider a rider has to beat is his teammate. Correct? Because the teammate is the rider who has the same equipment than you. So if you are not better than your teammate, you are at least the second best. Okay?
But even, sorry, can I say more? I've got lots.
Yeah.
But even like, I get the whole situation with him tucking behind and all that sort of stuff. But then again, too, why was Dobby not shitty at Jack? Because it was actually Jack that knocked him out of that second place.
Because it's very simple, because Petrucci made the lap time that pushed him out, slipstreaming him. Just
I get that. Yeah, but if Jack hadn't gone as fast as he did, it would have been Danilo and Dobby.
First, Petrucci wouldn't have done this lap time by himself without slipstreaming. Okay. And second, Jack is in another team.
But he's still the one that ideally knocked him down.
Yeah, but technically he's not part of the same team. He's part of a satellite team.
Okay, because it's the whole team thing.
Indeed.
I know you mentioned last week about how lovely, but was it Petrucci apologised for winning a race back when?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, this
and
time
I heard
he
even
said,
this.
Yeah, this time he said, no, I am racing. I'm not, last year I was racing for the team. This year I am racing for myself.
But didn't he want to apologise for this? I think I heard someone mention that he'd actually wanted to apologise.
No, he said, okay, I'm sorry that that Dobby didn't make it, but I am racing by myself, for myself.
Which you've got to respect that too, don't you? Like, it's,
of course, 100%.
Totally, you have to. Okay,
what do you think, Stuart?
I think Dobby's got a point. Dobby, I mean, as much as it's not good, team orders are a thing, and that the teams are available to be able to make them. Dobby's the only one that's in with a chance of the championship. And so there should have been more thought of that beforehand. That's just my thoughts. But anyway, look.
Sorry, Stu, but there is something that we have to underline is that it happened in a qualifying, not in a race.
Yes, exactly.
Even in a qualifying.
Exactly. So I do want to move on to talk about some of the other teams as well. But before I do, I just want to touch base on what your thoughts are, Manuel, with why the Ducatis did struggle so much, given that the previous history said that they were going to be really, really good. Was it purely down to temperature and they weren't expecting the tyres not to hook up?
I don't have 100% answer to that, but if you see, they didn't work along the whole weekend. So this new tire has really destroyed the Ducati's previous performance. But in Ducati something strange, because we have, where is Pecco Bagnaia? He was the one who, in the past, we said had learned to ride the bike with the new tire, and he has disappeared. Yeah,
completely.
Incredible.
Exactly. Okay, so look, let's move on. I really want to talk about Honda for a change, and it's a shame that Dave's not in here with us at the moment, because I know Dave is an absolute HRC nut. He'd be loving some of the results he's seeing now. I think at the beginning of the season, like 4 or 5 races in, Dave predicted we wouldn't see a Honda on a podium for another 2 or 3 years. So he'd be really happy about what we're seeing now. So Honda, what have they done to the bike? Why is it going so well? Because it's like Marquez is doing very well, Alex, of course. But then you also look at how Cal and Taka are going as well. There's the Honda is riding really, really well. So What have they done, Manuel? Why is it going so well?
Well, this is very interesting. Look, the first thing is that Aragon has always been a Honda track, right?
Yep.
But we put this apart. Look, it's the first time in the season where 3 Hondas, because Bradle doesn't count, finished among the 8 first, 3 of them. And another curious thing between the Hondas is that the rider who was supposed to be the second fastest rider in Honda, who is Cal Crutchlow, finished in 3rd position. So the order is exactly the opposite that should be. You understand? You see? Okay. And then look, I was so surprised with Alex Marquez that I have watched the race 3 times, like a real maniac.
Dude, is it a possibility, because I don't know the rules around what they're allowed to do to the bikes. Did he maybe prove himself on the wet track last week and they went, you know what, let's give him a little bit more, and made some little adjustments to give him a bit more of the bike?
Look, what I was telling, I saw the race just focusing on Alex, you know, and I stopped many times the video to see his position when he was braking, to see his riding position on the bike when he was exiting turns. And it's amazing. Look, and I was thinking, if instead of seeing riders with the bike, all these bikes were just a silhouette, you say silhouette in English?
Yeah. Yep.
All in black. Imagine them all in black. And then without knowing who was on which bike, if we saw Alex, we would think that there was a Yamaha rider. You understand what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you didn't see the bike shaking, sliding like Mark does when he rides the bike. So it was everything smooth, you know? It was like a non-Honda. And look, another thing I saw is, remember, or when you see a photo of Mark braking, you see like he does with his body and his arms, he does like a bow, no? Yep. You call it bow? Yep. Yes? With a bow, because he puts a lot of pressure on the front wheel because he needs to heat up the tire. If just have a look how the position of his brother is on the bike. He has his arms like this. He's seated very back. He puts his ass in the back of the bike. So the weight on the bike when he brakes is completely different than Mark's. And this is because he's much taller. So he can move his weight on the bike in a very different way than Mark. Mark is small, so Mark wouldn't be able to do this. You know,
he's like climbing over it as he goes.
Yeah, he attacks the things in another way, and he rides in a complete different way. And Alex is. Did you see the last turn getting into the finish line?
Yeah,
the straight before the end, or the
the last turn.
Yeah, coming out of the straight.
Yeah.
If you watch, you can see the Suzuki has been so far the bike who has turned more easy, you know. But with the Honda with Alex was turning even better than the Suzuki.
It was turning inside just about every other bike, wasn't it?
Incredible. So, and you can see that he rides the bike in a different way. And to finish this, it's very funny because after the race, Nakagami said, I am curious because when Alex passed me, I was thinking, what the hell is he doing with this bike? Nakagami, he had the same bike. And he said, I want to see his data, you know, to see how he's riding. Before this race, remember that Nakagami said, for a long time, I have learned riding the bike looking at Mark's data. After that race, he wants to see Alex's data, you know?
Yeah.
So this means that they have done something very different.
That's what I was going to ask. So they've finally made some changes that suit Alex, as opposed to, and it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like what they've been doing for years is forcing Mark's setup onto everybody and finding riders that are like Mark. So now they've accepted that Alex is different, and they're
getting that focus and energy because Mark's not there.
Yep.
Okay, yes, and you can see, for example, again, you know, the riding is completely different. So there is no so much front pressure on the tire. So, you know, Alex has come to make a little revolution.
Nice.
Oh, it was so good. And I saw a video of like Marquez and his family watching the race. It was pretty cool.
Okay, by the way, I got the news this morning. I hope I am wrong. I hope it's fake news, but it seems that Mark's arm is really bad.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like, okay, that he's undergoing surgery in the next days again.
Awesome.
The scar's getting bigger and bigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seems that the bone is not healing as it should. Okay, let's move.
They should put a titanium bone in.
Yeah, they should. He'll be like Wolverine, indeed. Yeah, let's move through. The other thing we wanted to talk about, Suzuki. So, everyone is scared of the Suzuki now. I think that there was guys on the weekend. I think Morbidelli was going. He couldn't believe the pace of that Suzuki. It was insane. At Aragon, Rins was up front. Mir's in third. Mir's the one winning the championship at the moment. He's 6 points in the lead of the World Championship. When are we going to start seeing team orders? Talking about team orders, Andrea. When are we going to start seeing that from Davide Brivio?
That is a good question. We have asked Davide after the race in Aragon, because there are 4 races to go. And now I think the championship will be decided in the last race with a gap of 3, 4, 5 points. So Davide Brivio is a very smart guy. You know, he said, well, we have to think about this. It will be not easy because Rins and Mir doesn't get along very well. Mir has been challenging Rins almost every race, and now Rins won. The key of the Suzuki now, it's very clear at this point. The Suzuki is the most balanced bike of the class, of the category, and it's basically we have seen that the Suzuki are very strong at the end of the races, right? And they are capable to do this because their tire wear is much more, how do you say?
Even,
yes. Yeah. So when the rest starts to struggle, the Suzuki can keep almost the same pace at the beginning. And this is the key of the Suzuki.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. And it seems they can turn those tires on in these colder temperatures, especially on the edge of the tire, a lot more than any of the other bikes can. You know, as we've seen with Ducati, really struggling in cold temperatures. So do you think that's something Suzuki have done on purpose?
No, I don't know. It's the job of their engineers, but
we have seen now, whoever it is, clearly.
Yeah, the Honda, we have seen surprise. Look, to confirm about the good performance of the Honda, we will need to go to a new track. Okay, this weekend when we have Aragon 2, they are supposed to do well, but it's a pro Honda track. Let's see what happens in Valencia. Right?
Indeed. Yeah,
so in regards, sorry if I could just say, in regards to like fuel consumption, did they get the fuel consumption completely accurate for Rins's bike? And did he run out of fuel on his warm down lap?
Yes, this is absolutely studied, right? So the engine, the engine knows how much fuel it has consumed, and the engine calculates how much. So they cut the power, so they may cross the finish line and 100 meters later run out of fuel. But this actually with all this software is very easy to calculate.
All right.
And I think we should switch before we go. We should switch to Yamaha, and especially to Quartararo, no?
Yeah. What happened? What happened to Fabio?
Look, the official version is that the pressure of the tires was not the right one.
Yep.
And this is the official version, and this is what happened.
But we're on the Pecino report now, Manuel. What's the real reason?
Okay. No, the real reason, and now the failure on the pressure happened. This is real. But it's not like Fabio said when he finished the race. No, the team made a wrong calculation, right? Calculated wrong. It was not the team. It was a failure by the Michelin engineers.
Oh, it wasn't an excuse. It wasn't another excuse.
No. And it was a problem by the Michelin engineers.
Whoops.
And, and this opened for the skeptics and the conspiration lovers. Mm-hmm. This opens a lot of books, a lot of doors and windows, and say, hang on, why did they you know,
Yeah.
you can let it go. But it was a failure. And I know very well that the Fabio's crew chief obviously is upset because he had to swallow coming out as the being the responsible of this.
That's terrible. That's terrible. So we're going to see better from him next weekend. So I want to push forward to just have a bit of a talk about this weekend. So now that mistake has come out in the past. So do you think Fabio can make amends this weekend and have a much better performance?
Look, Stu, after what we have seen this year, to do any kind of prediction is like, hey, look, let's see. Dovizioso should qualify better. So he should. We always put the should.
Yep.
Should qualify better, so have a better race. Obviously, twice can happen. The failure or with Fabio's tire can happen twice. Okay, then the teams or the Suzuki, you know, Rins shouldn't finish in front of Mir anymore. We can put a lot of shoot, and then next Monday we just jump and you know, back, and we have no idea of nothing.
Exactly.
But it will be interesting. It will, because the weather looks, it will be very good again.
Okay, so even warmer than last weekend, you think?
Yes, it will be warmer because at midday it's pretty warm. It's about 20 degrees. When it's very cold, it's in the morning. That's 3-4 degrees. So the thing they have to do, in my opinion, is just to push forward the practice sessions.
Fair enough. Okay, fantastic.
So once again, Stu, the champion completely open.
It is.
4 races to go, 4 riders there to have a chance.
Yep. I think the key thing that I'm looking for this weekend is, as you say, I want to see if Mir finishes in front of Rins. I want to see if those two are riding anywhere near each other, what happens. I think we might just see Rins just button off that throttle a little bit and let Mir go on through. That's what I'm looking for there, race fans.
And the confirmation of Alex Marquez is also something that we are all looking for.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your time again, Manuel. As always, it's been absolutely incredible. Andrew, did you have any final comments to talk to our viewers and our listeners about before we head off?
Follow us on social media, jump on Twitter. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can listen to us on the podcast. If you're listening on the podcast, you can watch us on YouTube.
Indeed,
drop us a message.
Hit the notification bell, like, subscribe, tell all your friends, give us a 5-star rating, all that sort of thing. It's been absolutely wonderful. The main thing you've got to do, get watching those races, find someone to go and support, and watch them lose.
Andrea, what are you going to do with your Valentino Rossi t-shirt?
I'm going to sleep in it.
Yes,
fair enough.
Because of the bike you want to
start supporting Luca Marini, obviously.
I'm buying a Patronus t-shirt next. They're my favourite team.
Adios.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.